here's another great fun game from Milton Bradley.
Easy money, easy money.
You know the classics like Monopoly and Clue. But what about the dozens of other bizarre, quirky, and downright strange board games that have been lost to time? The 1950s were a golden age for tabletop entertainment, a period when families gathered to play some truly wild cardboard creations. Today, we're unboxing some of the weirdest and most wonderful 1950s board games you've probably never heard of. We'll explore their unique rules and figure out why they were once the life of the party, but are now just nostalgic relics. Alfred Hitchcock's Y. Okay, so first on our list is Alfred Hitchcock's Y, released by Milton Bradley in 1957. Now this game is just pure suspense, built to feel just like one of his movies. Players become detectives trying to solve strange riddles like why did the man buy a coffin? The catch? You can only ask yes or no questions to figure it out. Wrong guesses make things tense with the flip of a Hitchcock narration card, mimicking the suspense from his films. It's a brilliant concept that really captures Hitchcock's unique storytelling, but its niche appeal and complexity might be why it faded into obscurity. Summit. Next up, we have Summit, another Milton Bradley game from the 1950s that was surprisingly intense for its time. Now this was a Cold War diplomacy simulator where players had to forge alliances while living under the threat of nuclear war.
Summit, the Milton Bradley game for people who like to think and have fun at the same time.
The most fascinating rule was the use of secret ballots for major decisions. If a majority voted for war, the game took a seriously dark turn. With themes of betrayal and global annihilation, it was a shockingly adult game in an era dominated by kids' entertainment. Those heavy themes probably made it a tough sell for the average family game night. If you're loving these trips down memory lane, join our totally rad membership for just $2.99 a month, and it helps us keep creating content you love. You'll get exclusive badges, emojis, early access to new videos, and shoutouts. Hit that join button to support the channel and keep the nostalgia alive. Thanks for being totally rad. Now, back to the list. Easy Money. And then there was Easy Money, also from Milton Bradley. Think Monopoly, but way more cutthroat. In this game, you're building a real estate empire full of airlines and hotels, but here's the twist. There are no dice. Instead, everything is based on ruthless negotiation as you try to bankrupt your rivals with aggressive buyouts. The game perfectly captured the dog-eat-dog spirit of the 1950s real estate boom, but it was ultimately overshadowed by its more family-friendly competitor, Monopoly. Dragnet Badge 714. Now here's one for fans of classic TV. Dragnet Badge 714, based on the hugely popular police procedural show. Players got to step into the shoes of detectives, chasing down criminals using just the facts from clue cards to solve cases. The coolest part? Well, you couldn't make an arrest until you had badge number 714, the one belonging to the legendary Sergeant Joe Friday. While it was a huge hit with fans of the show, the game's popularity fizzled out right alongside the show it was based on. Little Noddy's Taxi Game. Okay, so from the gritty streets of LA to a charming Toyland, we have a Little Noddy's Taxi Game. In this whimsical British import, players raced adorable toy taxis around the board based on card draws. The gameplay was full of chance, with quirky rules that could trigger a breakdown or a surprise passenger pickup, sending your taxi backward. It was a delightful game for children, but its distinctly British charm likely didn't connect with a wider audience, leaving it mostly forgotten outside the UK. Going to Jerusalem. Remember the chaotic fun of musical chairs? Well, the 1956 Milton Bradley game Going to Jerusalem tried to capture that energy on a board. Players would move their pieces around the board until the music stopped, simulating the elimination process of the classic party game. Then a spinner dictated your movement, making it one of the rare non-competitive family games of the era. It was a fun idea, but it probably failed to generate the same level of excitement as head-to-head competition, which is likely why it didn't last. Razzle Dazzle football game. Okay, long before Madden ever hit a console, there was the Razzle Dazzle football game. Now this 1950s football simulation had players strategizing with trick plays to outsmart their opponents. The game's signature feature was the Razzle Dazzle cards, which could trigger unexpected laterals or fakes to turn the tide of the game. It was a fantastic way to engage with football strategy, but it stood no chance once video games entered the scene and became the new king of sports gaming. Innovation Whirly-Bird. Now, cashing in on the 1950s aviation craze, we have the Innovation Whirly-Bird game. Players embarked on daring helicopter rescue missions, but how you moved was all up to chance. The quirky rule here involved spinning a plastic wind-up Whirly-Bird to see where you'd land. This totally random mechanic made every turn unpredictable and exciting. It was a charming and unique experience, but it eventually got left behind as families started looking for games with a bit more strategy. Annie Oakley game. Now, capitalizing on the 1950s obsession with westerns, Milton Bradley released the Annie Oakley game. Based on the popular TV show, this game let players join the famous sharpshooter on her adventures in the Wild West. You moved your piece around a colorful board, trying to be the first to complete a series of frontier tasks. It was a simple and fun tie-in that let kids feel like they were part of the action. But like many TV-based games, it faded once the show's popularity waned. Park and Shop. And finally, we have a game that is a perfect time capsule of 1950s suburbia, Park and Shop. Now released in 1954, this Milton Bradley title turned a frantic trip to the store into a competitive event. The whole point was to navigate the hustle-bustle traffic to be the first player to find a parking spot and finish all their shopping. It's a hilarious reflection of the newly car-centric world of the 50s, but its simple everyday theme probably struggled to compete with games about fantasy or finance. So looking back at these wild, weird, and wonderful 1950s board games, it's amazing to see the creativity that was bubbling up in living rooms everywhere. These games were all about bringing people together for a good laugh and some friendly competition, something that feels just as important today. So, what forgotten board games are collecting dust in your attic? I'd love to hear about them in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into nostalgia. Until next time, keep those memories alive.